Well, hey everybody, I'm John Rethel, and this is my review of WWE NXT on USA for October 9th, 2019. Pretty good show, actually. I really enjoyed how this show flowed. Now, there were a few things where it's like, okay, there was one particular match actually that was kind of blah, but you're going to have that on any show. You're going to have some matches a hit, some matches a miss, and more often than not, NXT, since going to USA, even though they had a couple weeks where they were 1 hour USA, 1 hour on the WWE Network, has been pretty damn good. Since going live, it's been a lot better for the NXT product. And really, this was quite a good show, and I'm going to get into it right now. We got recaps of last week's episode. Mauro Ranallo introduces us, and we cut right to what has now been rechristened the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, and we get Drew Gulak defending his title against Lio Rush. Now, many know that I have been very critical of Lio Rush in the past, but I'm going to surprise you guys here and say that I really did enjoy this match. This was quite fun. Now, it wasn't quite as long as I expected, or maybe it's just because it moved really, really fast and just seemed like it was shorter than it was. But this was a match of really good speed versus the psychology of Drew Gulak with some good spots and everything. Lio started off with some quick dives, really, really good, and then Drew Gulak took over with groundwork. Did even at one point though take to the air, sort of, when Lio Rush was on the top rope. Drew Gulak was on the apron, hit a drop kick, taking Lio Rush over onto some, ringside crew guys. And then Drew even kind of, seemed like he hurt himself there. There was some other really good spots. Drew kept trying to ground Lio, kept trying to beat him down. Did get the Gulak at one point, and then Lio got a Dragon Sleeper. That was a nice, little exchange. And then Lio finally came back, was hitting some good quickness, and in the end hit the final hour frog splash, 1, 2, 3, and on the 50s, what would have been Eddie Guerrero's 52nd birthday, R.I.P. Eddie Guerrero, big old frog splash wins the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, I'm not comparing Lio Rush and Eddie Guerrero, I'm just saying it was a nice little, way where it's like, okay, a frog splash win the Cruiserweight Championship. It just gave me a nice way to reflect back on how Eddie Guerrero had won the Cruiserweight Championship and other championships. So again, not comparing the two, but it was pretty damn cool. And Lio Rush won. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Cruiserweight Championship after this. I'm, again, not the biggest fan of Lio Rush, but I got to say this was a pretty good match and pretty damn enjoyable. So, going to be interesting to see what happens. Regal's in the ring. Going to present the title to him. Drew Gulak rips the title away. Well, actually, after the title's around Lio Rush's waist, Drew Gulak says, no, take that off or whatever. Oh, is he going to hit him? Nope. He presents the title to him. Show respect. That was some good stuff. So, hey, let's see what happens with Lio Rush as champion. I'm willing to give it a chance. We'll see what happens. It's nice that they rechristened it the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, which means pretty much 205 Live's basically fucked. They're going to get rid of that show and just absorb them in NXT, which is probably smart, honestly. And then we get more recaps of Balor, Balor coming back to NXT. We then get a Tegan Nox video package. She's coming back next week. I really, really hope that Tegan Nox does well, as a couple severe injuries have cut down a couple of years of her career. She's still very young and can definitely come back and have a great career in NXT, NXT UK, and maybe even years later when she decides to leave, if she decides to leave. I just hope that the injury bug has stopped biting her and that she can have a long, fruitful career. We then get to Rhea Ripley and Alia. Vanessa Bourne with Alia, and, well, this was a squash. Rhea Ripley destroys Alia. Just fucking creams her. Just absolutely, no, not like that. Just destroys her. Gets this, friggin' that standing, variation, almost like an execution, variation she hits. And then the sit-down version, it gets Alia to tap out. Just destroys her. Gets on the mic and says, "Oh, Shayna, I'm not done with you. I'm coming for you, Shayna." Again, not like that. And manages to, get the crowd all fired up and everything. So sure, Alia got basically destroyed, but I think that's fine, because I think Alia and Vanessa Bourne are, complementing each other great as a team. I think Vanessa Bourne's more of the breakout of the two, but if you're gonna sacrifice somebody, at least for a week, Alia has been around for a while and has been getting a little bit more attention and a little better in the ring, so it doesn't hurt to sacrifice her here, and then you build up to Rhea versus Shayna. Or do you? We'll find out a little bit later. We then get, Breezango doing a construction dance with a couple women in construction gear. That was pretty nice. Breezango are men at twerk, or men at work, whatever it is. And they were supposed to face the team of Ever-Rise that was on a recent episode of NXT, but nope, they were being carried out by the Forgotten Sons. This is where the show crashed to a halt. I have nothing against the 3 guys that are in the Forgotten Sons. Nothing against them as athletes. They actually are very good in the ring. This gimmick is so fucking stupid. It's one of the worst stables or trios ever. I mean, honestly, if I were to make a worst trios in wrestling ever, Forgotten Sons would be on there, and not even because they aren't really good athletes, it's just a dead noir thing. The crowd at one point was chanting "Stay Forgotten," so it was a basic match. The Breezango got in some good stuff, and then Breeze got targeted for a while, then Fandango got targeted, and then the numbers game, Jackson Riker, caused a distraction, and in the end, the Forgotten Sons get the victory, so whatever. This match wasn't very good. We then get a Keith Lee package. The video variety, that is, hyping up the matches that he's had and the fact we're going to get Dominik Dijakovic versus Keith Lee one final time next week. And that's really going to be very good. We then get Bowa, not of the Constrictor version, versus Cameron Grimes, and he hits a stomp and beats him, kind of like he did with Sean Maluda a couple weeks ago. And so there, and then we get Killian Dane coming down and destroying Bowa. Dane hates snakes, apparently, and then just lays him out, destroys him. I don't know what that's necessarily about. I guess they're trying to keep Dane strong or just have him destroy, random people. And then we get a Damian Priest video package where he's talking. He has a very movie trailer voiceover guy-like voice. And I just can't get over that. And I'm not knocking the guy. The guy actually has a very commanding presence and everything. It just sounds really weird. However, decent enough stuff and talking about facing Pete Dunne. We then get Roderick Strong versus Isaiah, Swerve Scott. Yes, Swerve. Of course, he was known as Shane Swerve Strickland. Now he's Isaiah Swerve Scott. I have met Shane Strickland a few times. Durbinator has met him a few times as well at the indie shows that we frequented, Defy Northwest and Without a Cause, respectively. And I'm so happy for his success. Honestly, he is fucking tremendous. He killed it in Defy, killed him Without a Cause, killed it all over Evolve, everywhere that he wrestled. This guy is absolutely incredible. So, he faces off against Roderick Strong, North American champion, and this was pretty damn good stuff. Swerve got a lot of quickness in, hit some really good shots, and with some near falls, backbreaker work, of course, by the Messiah of the backbreaker, Roderick Strong. They're really, really good stuff with that. Good, just solid work as Roderick Strong. Really, his best work, of course, is in the ring, not necessarily on the mic. Though his promos aren't horrible, he's much better in the ring. Keeps working, keeps being a great heel. Swerve does come back, almost getting the victory, but the Undisputed Era comes down. They end up causing a distraction. And we get a couple moves in there, end of Heartache, and then into the Stronghold, and Swerve taps out. So, okay, good stuff. This was enjoyable. I thought it was a nice way to tell a story of having Roderick Strong needing, getting the victory, but needing needing like his guys to help him. Scott did not look, Swerve did not look, I'm just going to call him Swerve because that's what I know him as. Swerve did not look weak at all. Had an out and eventually could get a victory, could get something, like maybe even a tag title shot at some point. Maybe team up him and Jordan Miles. I'd like to see that. The Undisputed Era then cut the promo. And Adam Cole, thankfully, cutting the promos. Nothing against any of the others, but Cole's the moneymaker on promos of the group. And he's talking about nobody can beat Roderick Strong. Nobody's as good as him. And then here's Velveteen Dream, and Velveteen Dream basically talking about facing Roderick Strong in a couple of weeks. And that, he brings up the pick where after Roderick Strong had won the North American Championship, he did a la Shawn Michaels, putting the title over his junk. I think obviously he had tights on underneath, but the whole point is, he put the thing there on the little Titantron or a little screen, stuff like that, and then says, well, the Dream is going to render you naked, or strip you of the championship. And he strips him and, there takes the title off of there. And it's a Photoshop thing of edited and censored, obviously, but of Strong coming up short, basically. It's a dick joke. It's a dick joke. That's what it is. But it was cheesy, childish, but you know what? Hey, you want to build a feud and actually make it seem like Dream is going to get under Roderick's skin. This is a good way to do it. It's cheesy, it's silly, but it is what it is. And then here's Tommaso Ciampa, and he wants Goldie back. And he says, hey, Goldie, Daddy's home. The NXT Championship. That's what he calls Goldie. And the crowd starts chanting, Daddy's home. We get a Walter video package to hype up the match later in the night against Kushida. And then Kathy Kelly is backstage wanting to interview Tommaso Ciampa. Angel Garza is like, hey, wait, no, why won't you interview me? And stuff like that. Well, she goes to interview Ciampa. And Angel Garza's like, you're waiting for this guy? I mean, really? And then he starts speaking at him in Spanish. And then Ciampa just decks him. And then Kathy Kelly's like, what was he saying? He's like, I have no idea. It is just a funny little thing. And then we get Dakota Kai versus Bianca Belair. Big fan of Dakota Kai. Really hope that she can stay injury-free, build back up her momentum and do some great things in NXT like she was doing for a while. Same with NXT UK before she got injured. Bianca Belair. I don't know exactly what they're doing with her. She seems to be almost in a holding pattern. Every time they try to push her, it seems like they pull the rug out from under her just a little bit. And I get it. She, maybe they're unsure at first, but they keep pushing her and then, and then they keep pushing her and then, They got to kind of pull a trigger at some point here or have her team with somebody and go after the tag titles or something. They got to do something with her. And this may be the start of it. Now, this is their third chance. This is kind of their final shot with it, at least for right now. Bianca does ground after Dakota hits a few good moves and kind of even mocks Bianca Belair Dakota mocks Bianca for her heel tactics. Some good strength spots. Kai does come back with some really nice kicks and some good variations, but Bianca always seems to have an answer. Was some good near falls, but in the end, a good KOD out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3, and Bianca Belair not squashing. Dakota had a good showing, but Bianca Belair earned this victory and even gets on the mic saying, oh wait, Rhea Ripley wants to challenge Shayna Baszler? Oh no, you got to go through the EST of NXT essentially, to do that. So that's what's going to happen. So we're going to get Bianca versus Rhea, I think next week. I don't remember if they announced it next week or not. And the winner will face Shayna. Whoever the fuck wins that needs to beat Shayna. You don't need to drag this out anymore. I would say have Rhea do it, and then you could have Rhea versus Dakota. Because at this point, you need to get the title off of Shayna. And I mean, I know there are Shayna fans that are watching. I'm not knocking Shayna. I'm just saying you kind of need to get past this. Because pretty soon, you're coming up on about a year. And it was the issue with Asuka's title reign as well. Sometimes when you have long title reigns, it doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But I know that there are people that like her title reign, and that's fine. We then get, Dominic Dijakovic package again, hyping up the match that him and Keith Lee are going to have next week. Finn Balor video package once again. Pete Dunne talking about Damian Priest, showing a little highlights of what Dunne has done since, coming into NXT UK. And we're getting that match next week. That'll be fun. Rush being congratulated by a bunch of guys backstage. A bunch of guys I didn't necessarily recognize. I apologize. Sometimes I forget, the names of some people on the roster. And then we get to Kushida versus Walter. Hit and run offense by Kushida. This was really fun. It will not take me long to analyze this match, but this was really, really easily the match of the show. I would measure this up probably right with, I would say this, Roddy and, Swerve, and then Leo and Gulak right below. So I would say as far as that. And then you could put Dakota and Bianca there, and then the rest is kind of a wash, honestly, all due respect to the talents. But yeah, he slaps Walter at one point. That was a pretty damn stupid idea, but Kushida, who wanted to challenge heavyweights in New Japan, got upset because he couldn't, so that's why that's one of the reasons he came to NXT. And hey, he had a pretty damn good match here with Walter. Walter took over with some nice groundwork, some big chops. Fucking hell, those chops by Walter live are insane. I got to see him at a Progress Defy Northwest wrestling show back in July or August. I think it was August. It was insane. Insane to hear those live. Kushida with a DDT off the apron, not onto the apron, because we know it's the hardest part of the ring. Submission switches, some really nice stuff. Kushida almost gained the victory a few times, including getting a hoverboard lock off of the top. Looked like Walter was actually going to tap. Now, the title wasn't on the line, but still, holy shit. Imagine if he had tapped, but he didn't. Ends up hitting a shotgun dropkick, gets a powerbomb. Soon after, big old lariat. How he beat Tyler Bate. 1, 2, 3, and Walter gets the victory. This was nice. I really enjoyed this match. Kushida did not look weak. Walter gave him a lot while also staying strong. Walter just really is that goddamn good. A great heel. This was great stuff. I'm going to say B plus. I'm gonna say B plus. I think it was right on. It was pretty much maybe just a fraction below AEW, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, if we were comparing those, but I'll just say B plus. And if there's no poll above my head, please leave in the comments what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle is in the description. I'm John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.